Welcome back to another episode of Detroit 360, your personal guide to all things Detroit. I'm your host, Sheila Grant. Detroit has rich maritime history. Its proximity to water makes it a prime location for shipping. The Dawson Great Lakes Museum houses many artifacts and has one of the largest collections of model ships in the world, including shipwrecked items. Recently, I was able to sit down and pore over a lot of shipwrecked items from the Andrea Doria when I talked to one of its survivors. Enjoy this next piece of Art Detroit as she shares her story.
My name is Pierrette Domenica Simpson. I'm an author, speaker, and filmmaker.
I'm home, you're home in Detroit City. There's no place like home. Just tell me what you need. It's all right here. In Detroit, don't matter what it is, it's all right here. Oh.
As a 9-year-old immigrating to America with my grandparents, I became one of the youngest survivors of the most catastrophic collision in history between two ocean liners, the Andrea Doria and the Stockholm. So frightening being lowered from the Andrea Doria that was sinking into the lifeboat. They tied a rope around my waist and dangled me over the side of the ship, and I couldn't see the lifeboat below because it was dark and it was under the incline. I remember climbing up this, like a Jacob's ladder.
Right.
Just like a skyscraper over the Black Ocean, and climbing up and up and up and up and up, and then at the small window, somebody pulling us in. It was so frightening. Oh my God.
Hi.
Welcome.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Thank you for having us
Oh,
here.
my pleasure. Come on in.
So I'm super excited to see some of the artifacts you have in here. So what all are we going to be looking at?
Well, I feel like I've exposed my whole creative life before your eyes here.
Oh my, look at this display. Wow.
We have my books, we have my awards, we also have the posters for the film festivals.
What's this here? What's this binder of clippings?
Well, this Annie Frank look is me, and that's the forlorn 9-year-old that is on the deck of the Ile-de-France, our rescue ship, after the collision.
Right. I see dishes, I see silverware, and what looks like tile from a room. Tell me about that.
They are very, very precious. Okay, this happens to be a piece of tile from one of the swimming pools on the Andrea Doria. Very unusual for the time at the time to have 3 swimming pools.
Do you mind if I hold it? No pressure.
I completely trust you, but it is very, very precious.
Oh my. This is part of history, and part of your history
My
more
history.
specifically. This has got to be just amazing that you have physical pieces of this time in your life. Talk to me about how the things that you experienced starting at the age of 9 have really shaped who you are today, and how writing and sharing your story has evolved into several different art forms for you.
When you're 9 years old, in that period of time, you know, I hadn't seen Titanic, so when people were screaming Titanic on the ship, I didn't know what that meant. My grandparents knew what death was and death by drowning, and I didn't. So it didn't impact me the same way it impacted them. But I respected their wishes not to talk about it. And I don't think I spoke about it again very much, except for writing a paper in elementary school, until I started teaching high school and telling my students about it. This is really the seed. I wrote the story after doing a presentation at a private school called Detroit Country Day where I was teaching.
Okay.
I told them about the shipwreck delicately, not going into great detail.
Sure.
And having them run up to me and the teachers saying, you must write a book about this, a children's book. They really spurred me on. So I did a lot of interviews for a few years, published Alive on the Andrea Doria in 2006, going into depth about what experience they had before, during, and the aftermath of the collision. And it brings out all of the scientific evidence of what happened during the collision, what caused the collision, and the rescue, of course, and the diving of the Mount Everest of the deep. And then I wrote another one called I Was Shipwrecked on the Andrea Doria, and that's to attract a younger audience to the subject of marine forensics. When I discovered what had really happened, I was very angered, and I think this was what spurred me into writing the book in different parts, not just survival stories,
Sure.
but the scientific component.
Multiple, yeah. Wow.
Well, you have to have a passion for something
Sure.
to get into this work. And I think it was that anger that impassioned me to
That'll do
really
that.
dig
That'll do
deep
it.
and learn naval architecture in English and in Italian to compare what had happened in both countries.
Sure.
I have vindicated the captain through my writings, the crew, the architects of the Andrea Doria.
What an
It's
awesome
correcting
story.
history.
Yeah.
It's about uncovering the real truth that was never published. The Andrea Doria story morphed into the docufilm Andrea Doria, Are the Passengers Saved?
I'm super excited to come to the scene of where you did some of your film for your docufilm.
Background, action.
Well, you've heard the African proverb, it takes a village
Yeah.
to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to do a film shoot, even a small film shoot. I had a lot of my friends participate, which was great. They were amateurs.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in the negative sense
No,
of the word.
but-
They were not professional actors,
And
but
it was
they
a
were
village that came together, like you said, to make it all work.
Exactly. They were so excited to recreate my story.
Background, action.
It was just amazing to see my life coming to life again.
Tell me what it means to you to be a Detroiter and to do this work here in Detroit, to want to film here in Detroit and do the work that you do here.
I'm a Detroiter, even though I was born in Italy, lived there for the first 9 years. I consider myself American as well, and I went to Detroit public schools. For me to give back to Detroit, especially in a creative way, is really, it's a great satisfaction. And seeing Detroit make a comeback, and that maybe I'm considered a little tiny drop of that comeback.
Absolutely you are.
Thank you. That's a real satisfaction. It's very gratifying. I think that having done everything I did has brought me closure, and I'll tell you why. Because my work is a tribute to my grandparents who sacrificed everything to bring me to America. My mother who sacrificed leaving Italy, coming here. My tribute is a way of giving back for that sacrifice. So my books and the docufilm shows in detail what happened that was never published to the public. So that's my legacy, to leave through my art, the truth.
There are no shortage of food options in the city, especially at lunchtime. As good as they are, though, sometimes I would love a healthier option. Recently, I was online and saw a vegan chef post some snack recipes that I'd love to try one day. But for now, I'm going to indulge in one of these food trucks back here, and I want you guys to stay tuned to this next piece as she shares one of her recipes.
Hey guys, I'm back. Jay Lauren, the 12-year-old who loves healthy cooking. And today I'm gonna blow you guys away with these healthy buffalo cauliflower wings. You guys will die for them. But first we're gonna talk about why I'm making these. So they are a new take on buffalo wings. Meat is pretty harmful to your body. It can increase your risk of cancer, it can make you have heart disease, and it's filled with terrible substances. But I'm going to show you guys how to make these meatless buffalo wings. So let's get on into the video. So first, what I have here is the batter for my wings. This is just 3/4 cup of flour, 3/4 cup of water, a dash of salt, and a dash of Frank's Red Hot. So now, what you're going to do is you're going to use a head of cauliflower, and you're just going to dip your cauliflower in here. Make sure that you cut your cauliflower relatively bigger, not the size that you would usually make them when you're gonna like boil them or something. So I'm just gonna dip all of my cauliflower, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so again, this is the flour, salt, water, and hot sauce that I'm dipping this in. So this will make it kind of coated, so it's almost like a fried, but it's gonna be like fried baked. So it's gonna be way healthier because fried chicken it's filled with grease, and grease is very fattening. It's a very easy way to gain weight. So this will make it like a coating, almost like fried chicken, but it's just gonna be a little coating on it. So it's not gonna be super crunchy or anything. It's not gonna be exactly the same, but it's gonna be a little bit trying to replicate that. So now I'm gonna go put this in the oven at 350 for 15 minutes. All right, there it goes. So now I'm gonna show you guys how to make the buffalo sauce. Over here, I have a tablespoon and a half of melted butter, and I have 1/4 cup of the Frank's Red Hot. I love this stuff. And so now we're just gonna mix these two together, and it's gonna make us an amazing buffalo sauce. It's gonna get a little bit thicker than it was before because of the butter in there. So get a nice thick buffalo sauce. Now I have some already cooked that are out of the oven. So we're gonna brush them with this amazing buffalo sauce. You can also dip them in there. I've done that as well. It turns out a little bit more saucier, like a little more spicier and saucier. So if you'd like that, then you can go for that. This will be also a great way to get in your vegetables instead of having just meat. Okay, now they're ready. So here's my buffalo cauliflower wings. Don't these just look amazing? So I hope that I have helped your family eat healthier and start eating less meat with these amazing buffalo cauliflower wings. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Ooh, I'm telling on you.
Not again. Bye, guys.
In the past, you found TV channels 10 and 22 on the City of Detroit website, here. Now, the City of Detroit has more TV channels to offer. Channels 10 and 22 are still there, but we've expanded our options to include 4 broadcast channels and content across the social media spectrum. Channels 10 and 21 are for government access, while Channel 22 will have educational programming and Channel 68 is public access. All of these channels can be found through your television service provider, as well as on the City of Detroit's website. Now, when you click on the TV channels icon, you're taken to the new Media Services webpage. There, you'll find our purpose statement. You can also view recent projects, find our contact information, and request a DVD. You'll also find film production and telecommunications permits, as well as information about special events. Media Services, we tell Detroit's story. Many of you may recognize Cobo Center behind me and know it to be the home of the North American International Auto Show. But did you know Detroit is becoming more of a destination for people and other events? I think it's wonderful that people are starting to take note of all the wonderful things the city has to offer. Recently, Cesar Chavez Academy's high school was the sole Detroit school to represent at First Championship, a worldwide robotics competition that took place here at Cobo. Enjoy this next piece that features some talented students.
First is a youth-serving organization whose mission is to inspire students, grades K through 12, to develop their interest in science, technology, engineering, math through a robotics program, and also while doing that, develop their critical thinking, their collaboration, their creativity, all the skills they need to be effective in today's world. Detroit is an amazing place to have the First Championship. If you think about the history of Detroit, how it's such a STEM-rich, a science, technology, engineering, math-rich environment. You've got all the great companies like General Motors, Magna, and ZF here in the community that are supporting this. We are trying to inspire interest in science, technology, and math, and research shows that interest and not proficiency actually leads to kids getting interested in pursuing whether that's a 4-year degree in an engineering program or other technology program, or a 2-year degree, some sort of advanced education that will equip them to take all these jobs that require STEM literacy.
That way it's not out.
Championships in Detroit is amazing. Our students especially are really so excited, and it seems like every other word out of their mouth is something about being here and representing, and being so excited to be able to represent and show people what it's like here and what being in Detroit means, and just being incredibly proud that it's here and that everyone gets to see our city and that we get to represent that. Like, it's only because we're a world, like 303 is not a score to be mad about. 303 is amazing. At the high school level, the First Robotics is starting the first week of January. You get a challenge, a new challenge every year, which means you have to build a new robot every single year. Every single year you build a new robot based on that game. You have 6 weeks to design and build your entire robot. After those 6 weeks, you need to bag your robot, and you only get a certain amount of time until your competitions. Then you compete with other teams at competitions to show what your robot can do and how you designed it from scratch based on the manual. So you have hundreds of teams across Michigan during the same 6 weeks, all designing and building and implementing separate, and you converge together at competitions to see what each other can do.
Make the world whole nother level.
Day to day, I'm in charge of the team, the entire team. I do the logistics of the team. I also help them design the robot to their liking. I don't give them ideas. I don't tell them this is not how you build a robot. I tell them, this is what you want to build? Okay, let's go find out a way to build it. 20 years ago, when I was in high school, I was on the First Robotics competition team as a student, and we were part of the team for 3 years. I graduated since then, and then I've been a volunteer with First Robotics for a number of years, and now I'm the head mentor for the team. I learned so much from being on the robotics team. I feel like I became a better engineer because of my experience in the high school, and I want to give that back. We'll have a lot more Detroit teams. We're just here this year, and I'm sure there's be a lot more next year.
Being here at Worlds, the only team here from Detroit, it feels nice. Also, we're one of the teams from Michigan. I hope at least we're, someone from Michigan wins, because, it's just something that I want. People think that everybody in robotics are nerds, but that's not true. We have a lot of people who are on the soccer team who joined, that are my friends. I was in the wrestling team for a couple years for my freshman and sophomore year, then I did this full time. I would just say that it's like a great way to get involved into engineering, because engineering is a great path to go, especially if you want to go to college.
Since I joined, I wanted to be an engineer, because I knew that for a fact, because I knew I liked math and science and stuff, and so I just wanted to find out what kind of engineer I wanted to be. So that's why I want to either pursue aerospace or electrical engineer and work for GM or for NASA. I think with robotics, I've taken more of especially next year, I'm going to take more of a leadership role. So I think that's going to influence me, because I also wanted to run for president my senior year, because I just want to stack up the accolades for my college resume.
We are trying to cultivate a STEM squad here at Cesar Chavez High School, and being able to be part of this experience is something that I know is very, very important. Like all high school experiences, being part of a school program like STEM is something that will carry them for a lifetime. We hope that through this experience that we are able to offer a robotics type of elective class, a STEM type of elective class, and to generate more excitement and more participation. I have no doubt that these experiences will help them continue to have interests and pursue maybe careers in STEM-related fields. I know this is STEM, but there's that heavy emphasis on math and science, which I think we are well known for and well equipped to continue to provide our students, our young people, here at Cesar Chavez, throughout the city of Detroit and throughout our state, quite honestly, that opportunity, and we look forward to what's to come in the future. What I like about the robotics is that they seem to find creative ways to have schools tag on with other schools, have members of teams from other schools tag on to other schools. That flexibility is very, very nice, because that's how Detroit can quickly, I think, get on the map and compete against some of these other top teams that have been doing it for a number of years now.
Out of Detroit City, it's the Aztec Eagles!
Dear God, can we talk for a minute? I know I don't pray as much as I should, but I've got something on my mind. See, my dad goes to work every day to help other people. He risks his own life to save the lives of others. And I think he likes doing it, but last night I saw him crying. He didn't know I was watching, but I saw him. Maybe he saw something bad. I don't like seeing my dad sad, but I know you made him a firefighter for a reason. I'm guessing it's to help people when you're busy with other things. So, I just wanted to thank you for giving me such a cool dad. I know some people call him a hero, but to me, that's just plain weird. Oh, P.S. I think I know why my dad cries. Maybe he cries sometimes so more people can smile. Anyways, thanks for listening, God. Amen.
There's nothing worse than wasting time. Well, maybe waiting in lines. But now I can pay my water bill from my phone, tablet, or laptop. All it takes is a quick click and bam, I can check, manage, and pay my water bill from anywhere. That means more time with the family at Rouge Park, more time for myself on the Riverwalk, or just at home on Outer Drive. I can pay my water bill anywhere. It's that easy. So skip the line and pay your bill online. Visit www.detroitmi.gov/paymywaterbill to register today.
Americans love cuisine from other countries. Oftentimes, though, what we love is the Americanized version of the cuisine. Meet the owner of a local Mexican restaurant who shares his story and how he strives to serve the most authentic food.
If you take a look from outside, the shape of the building is a house. There used to be an old house, and we started selling tacos over there for friends and family, and then move on to the side over here and start building the place. It took me a whole year to do it.
You built all of this? Yeah. Yourself?
Well, I worked construction before, So I quit my job to start this. We already selling tacos on the weekends for the family and friends. And then, well, it's an opportunity because we keep selling more and more. There used to be an old Coney Island, like for the 1940s, 1960s. So it was all abandoned. So we ended up buying it and started fixing it.
When people come here, do you find that they get more of the authentic food, or do they tend to go toward the Americanized food?
Well, you can answer that question yourself.
Yes, you're right.
Because take a look, I mean, a lot of, and I don't mean to disrespect nobody or whatever. I mean, it's a way to make $1 in this country. But the history is a little bit twisted through time. The history of food. We want to sell whatever we cook at home. Keep it simple. And there's plenty of recipes here where they keep it really tight and traditional to home. When I started this 17 years ago, it's like, this guy is crazy or what? And now it's a lot of restaurants out there following my steps, which is I like very much. Mean something I'm doing right. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to know. Being a guy from where I grew up on a farm, I moved up to Mexico City to go to school. In my spare time, I help my brothers, my friends on the taco stands on the streets. So it's when you learn to make your salsas, make your tacos. The idea in American culture about the Mexican food is great, but it's a lot of restaurant chains, what they move in and what they sells better. The Mexican cuisine is moving up to number 2. If you notice through history, there used to be, I think it's Chinese right now, there used to be Italian, and now Mexican cuisine is taking over on second place. Means it's really extended. The culture travels through the table.
If you like these stories and want to see more, subscribe to our YouTube channel at City of Detroit and follow us on social media at City of Detroit and at Stories from DET. Thank you. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Detroit 360. I'm your host, Sheila Grant. Thanks so much for watching.